a very little girl, I'd go off to Sunday school clutching my few pennies in my hand to give to whoever was collecting those coins. I had no idea what God was going to do with my money. I just knew that I never was to go empty-handed. As I got old enough to attend church, I was given a nickel or sometimes even a dime, and I found it exciting when they passed the big wooden plates. But I still had no idea where that money went. In my 20s, I seldom went to church, and later as a single mother, I had so very little money for charity that I was embarrassed at what little I had to give. But my older children went to Sunday school, and I gave them whatever I had for their collection. It wasn't until I was fully grown and started to attend church regularly that I became aware of what happened to the money I gave. I spent 6 Saturdays in a course on operating an effective church. I learned that churches have expenses and budgets and have to manage them. I became aware of all the funds that were needed in managing a church. When I became an elder, I got more deeply into stewardship and why my own church in a poorer section of town with a very slight attendance was fighting to stay alive. At the annual meetings, I came to realize how important were the few dollars that I was giving. At Carman, I got more heavily into committee work and each of the budgets that they submitted every year. I became more aware of the outreach work done by our church and how generous most of our adherents are. Like you, I felt a sense of pride when we could support projects through the UCC or through the wider community. But there was still the business of keeping Carman solvent through all these inflationary times. I was once told by a co-worker that he did not go to church because they were always asking for money, and perhaps many people feel that way. There is a need, and only you can fill it. As envelope secretary for many years, I, and myself only, was well aware of how generous most of you are. Once again, we need to consider if we can give just a little more. It isn't easy for many of us, but we can all try, can't we?
Thank you, Carman. Thank you.